Hey guys, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Andrew Seegers, and this time we're joined by Derek Binior and Ash Paulson to discuss our playtime with Hyrule Warriors. So let's get started. Alright guys, so, we were at E3, as we usually are, and Hyrule Warriors was one of the many games we played there, and of course there's been tons of information that's come out since, which Derek will be exploring in analysis pretty soon, so you're locked into that now, Derek.
Oh, good.
Witnesses.
You sound so excited. So I figured, we'd just give our quick thoughts, overall, on both the game itself and, what we've seen of it in general. So, I mean, for me, I never played Dynasty Warriors, which is the series this game is based on. So I went in with this, with a completely clean slate at E3, and I had fun with it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I'm usually kind of wary of, combat-focused games, especially ones that, involve, a lot of complicated combos and whatnot. I just hate, memorizing moves. And that's not really a factor here, It's, all very simplistic. And I dug it, and I thought, merging, strangely enough, merging Zelda with, the Dynasty Warriors type of gameplay actually worked really well, I thought.
No, it adheres to Dynasty Warriors very closely. It's as you said, very simple. Dynasty Warriors has never been a very complicated game. It's all about small hit, large hit, and variations of that in order to get your more impressive combos and clear out enemies. And yeah, I mean, when I saw that Zelda was playable at E3, I picked her up right away. Loved how she played. It felt really good, and I had a lot of fun with it. It was a very solid demo.
Yeah, same here. I've also never played a Dynasty Warriors game. I just never really warmed up to the series, I guess. But I had a lot of fun with Hyrule Warriors. It really isn't very complicated, but it's got a certain kind of freewheeling arcadiness to it, where when you get the bombs and you power them up, you can just throw multiple bombs at once, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but it works because it's an arcadey type game. It's definitely not grounded in the kind of relative realism you'll see in a traditional Zelda game.
That's kind of a good way of putting it. Yeah, it's an arcade version of Zelda.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, that's exactly what this game is supposed to be, and it works. And like you, Derek, I tried Zelda, actually at your recommendation. I probably would have tried her anyway, but I really wanted to try her after you were just raving about how fun she was to play, and I agree. Her rapier attacks are super fun. She's really quick, and she's got some crazy area of effect magic attacks, especially the one where the Triforce emblem kind of comes out of the ground, and it's just this giant explosion of light. She's awesome to play as.
Oh yeah, and then her jumping into the air and pulling out her light barrow and shooting light arrows into the crowd.
Yeah.
And, it's awesome how they mixed in that gameplay. Even though her main weapon is a rapier, she still uses the arrow for her special attacks. It just feels really good.
Yeah, it really does. And after seeing, I didn't try Link with the fire rod in the demo, but after seeing that trailer, Link looks like he's got some really sick combo finishers with the fire rod, more than I was expecting.
Yeah, well, Tom took down the Dodongo with it in record time. The rep was holy crap! I've never seen someone destroy Dodongo that fast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean everything about it seemed to just work, I guess. And no, granted, again, it's based on the demo. I don't know how I'm going to feel about the full game. But, yeah, what I saw seemed really promising. The controls just flowed really well. It seemed so seamless just going from, one move to another. And part of that, though, was because I think we were on an easy setting, too. So the enemies were putting up, no fight at all for the most part. A lot of them would just stand around and just absorb hits. They were, just punching bags.
Yeah, I mean, Dynasty Warriors can be very challenging if you want it to be. If you up the difficulty, I mean, I did try that back in the day with, I think, Dynasty Warriors 2 or 3, and up into difficulty because, like you said, they were just standing around. So when I did that, I was like, oh, crap, they're actually fighting back. This isn't quite as easy as before. So I guarantee they'll have something like that in Hyrule Warriors, and that'll definitely up the challenge quite a bit. Now, I guess the only big concern I have, and I'm sure you guys share this concern, is will the game get repetitious? And I think from what we've seen of everything after the fact, I think they'll be okay for the most part as far as keeping it fresh, keeping it new, and I think by adding in the Zelda elements, that will help it keep, not quite as repetitious as you think it might be.
Well, yeah, I mean, having so many characters, I think so far, we know there will be at least 12 different characters in the game, and, I think right there that's going to add a fair amount of diversity, and we've already seen that with Link and Zelda and how different they feel. And I'm sure that's going to be the case for most of the characters as well. And what's cool is, I mean, that's something that Dynasty Warriors has done, giving you tons of characters to play with. Now, again, I've never played those. But what's cool here is that all the characters are characters you already innately care about. You're already familiar with them to some degree. So I think that's only going to enhance, how different they feel as well, because you already know what these characters are kind of like. And they're just going to build on that with this game.
Right. I mean, I could see, even from the E3 demo, I could definitely see things getting a little repetitive, but I do agree that the various playable characters are going to help stave that off somewhat. But I do hope that there are new elements, or at least combo finishers and things like that, introduced throughout the game to keep things from getting too stale. Because, I mean, even in the one stage we played, I was like, oh yeah, I could see this maybe getting a little repetitive.
Mm-hmm. I think the one rep I talked to said as you level up, you can get new finishers and new combo attacks and stuff like that. So I think there is a bit of that in there. I'm not sure how in depth it is, but it's probably just swapping them out to see if you can get your favorites and that sort of thing. So it's not like completely new, but there is at least a little bit there.
Well, yeah, I mean, because during the demo itself, like, you find the bomb item, for instance, which you can then use, and I wonder how many more items you might find in that way. I'm guessing quite a few.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, I guess it does come down to, like, how different do those attacks feel. I mean, the thing is, like, ultimately every attack has the same effect, it's taking down the enemies. And if they all just mow down the enemies as they did in the E3 demo, yeah, I could definitely see that getting a little repetitive. But, Derek, if you say that, the game, Dynasty Warriors can get difficult, then I do think that would be less of a concern. But yeah, I guess I do ultimately wonder, like, how different all those weapons will, or how much they'll matter, per se. Like, do they just look cool, or will you actually have to use different weapons in order to get through, the game?
That's I guess the big thing I'm trying to figure out here is because with Link, it was a separate choice. You could either go through the demo with the sword and shield, or you can go through with the fire rod. You couldn't swap between the two during the match. So I wonder if it's like almost like that's considered a new character just because it's a different weapon loadout and it changes how you play. So that's like when you start the game and go through the story, you choose to use the fire rod instead of the sword, or if you'll be able to switch them out as you go through, or even if you go through the story mode, the level chooses what weapons you're using for this area. That's sort of the curiosity I have about these levels.
Well, from what I remember, the character select screen, it was divided between the actual characters and the weapons they use. So, I mean, that being the case, I feel like characters will be treated as separate entities apart from their weapons. So, like, Link is still considered the same character, whichever weapon he's using. So I feel like if you use a specific character for the story mode and you're locked into that character, you'll at least be able to switch weapons. That's just my guess based on how the character select screen was laid out, but yeah, who knows? But it does seem like it'd be strange to consider the same character with a different weapon completely different entities.
Yeah, so what do you guys think about the new characters that they've shown off, since E3? Because we now know about a fair amount of characters.
Well, I feel like my idea about this whole time portal being unleashed and multiple generations of Zelda converging into this one is becoming a lot more likely.
What? Wait, didn't they? Yeah. I thought wasn't that basically confirmed, or isn't that like? I thought wasn't that basically confirmed?
I think they mentioned it. I'm not sure if exactly. Like I think they mentioned like the Twilight Realm getting opened up and all that good stuff happening, or something like that. But I cannot remember, and I haven't got a chance to look up specifically whether or not it's been totally confirmed that this is a time portal happening. Mm-hmm. Though when you have all these characters mixed in now, of course, Fi could potentially show up without time travel, even though she was supposed to be locked away at the end of Skyward Sword, never to show up again, just sleeping with it forever within the Master Sword. So I don't know. But yeah, I mean, just having all these different characters. I mean, we started out just knowing about Link, Impa, and Zelda. Now we have Midna. Fi was just announced today, and we got Lana, who's a brand new character, and then probably the most like mind blowing of all, it's nobody saw coming, Agatha from Twilight Princess, who looks cool to play as.
Yeah, honestly, from all the character trailers, I've watched them all, and they really all look like they play completely differently from one another, and I'm really excited about really just this overall lineup of playable characters. And I also like how the vast majority of the cast is actually female, which is not something you see very often. and I think that's awesome. And I'm looking forward to playing as everyone, especially Fi, because I think her kind of, you know, ballerina dancing style type fighting kind of whatever she will do will really kind of be interesting, because, you know, she, as we know from Skyward Sword, she dances around and kind of has a very kind of wafy like quality to her. So I think, I think actually she's considered genderless in Skyward Sword, but I guess, you know, because she looks like a she, we'll consider her a her. But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to playing as her. Also, Lana. I mean, she's the first original character in the cast, and in her trailer, she was pretty crazy, like, you know, running around on cubes and stuff. And I have no idea what to expect from her. So I'm really looking forward to those two, especially. I
really just want to get my hands on the game even further and see exactly what they have to offer. Because it's such an interesting mix of characters. Because that was the idea. Because they only showed Link when the game was first announced. So we're like, are we going to have the multiple characters of the Hyrule, the Dynasty Warriors series, or are we going to just be stuck with Link? And no, it turns out we're going to get a lot of new and interesting characters. And we're definitely going to get some more male characters here. It'd be very odd to have one Link and all these female characters, even though it's awesome. Right. I mean, I love having all these female characters really show their stuff, and like, just, I mean, to have, and of course having Zelda out there be playable, be there to use. But I if anything, Agatha shows they're not limited by anything.
Yeah,
they can choose whatever character they want.
Yeah.
Agatha is like the standout to me. So any character you can think of, they could use. I mean, if they really wanted to, they can get what is it? Malin from Ocarina of Time, I think her name was.
Yeah.
They could have her riding Epona around and wrecking things with, I don't know, like a cowbell.
That would be awesome.
And we definitely haven't seen all the characters, because even in the E3 demo, there were 9 slots available, and only 2 of them were being filled up by, you know, a Link and Zelda. And, you know, so fill in all the characters. I still think we have like 3 more slots left, or maybe two more slots. And that's, you know, there could even be another page worth or something to that effect, something we're not seeing because it is just a demo. So there are definitely still a lot of people can get in there. So I'm almost positive we're going to get a Goron ally and a Zora ally. I mean, those are 2 iconic races in Zelda. They have to show up in some form, I would think.
Right. I'd also be surprised if we didn't get Ganondorf as a playable character in the end, too. I mean, even if it was just kind of like a bonus Easter egg type thing and he didn't have his own story mode, I mean, it seems... I mean, if you're going to have Zelda and Link playable, how are you not going to have Ganondorf playable, right?
Exactly, and that's the other thing, is that with Dynasty Warriors, like, you have these villains that you play against, and it's usually, because it's based around Romance of the Three Kingdoms, it's, you know, these people that you're fighting against, you can play through their story, and you play as these people fighting against people you were playing as before. So there could be a mode where you play as the villains. You can play as, you know, I'm blanking on their names. You could play as Sia. You could play as Valga. You could play as, you know, they sewed Zant in there now, and of course you could play as Ganondorf. And I really think it would be a missed opportunity if you're not allowed to play as these characters,
especially because that's something that we haven't been able to do outside of Smash Brothers, you know, as Ganondorf.
Of course, the other curious thing beyond just the characters is the weapon selection, which we talked about a little bit before, where with Link you had the option to choose, you know, you chose Link, and then you had the options come up as far as his weapons, and you had the, you know, sword-based weapon, and you had the fire rod. So, and then there was 2 empty slots below that, and where we've just found another one today, which was the ball and chain weapon from, I believe, Twilight Princess, making its return, so you can do its own thing, and I'm looking forward to seeing the trailer for that. And yeah, I mean, there's a 4th weapon we could be using with Link, and, you know, whatever that could be. Really could be anything, because if they're going, you know, they got so much to choose from. But probably the more curious thing is that if you look at the Famitsu scans, you have that little picture of Zelda in the bottom right, and she's doing sort of a pose, and it's really hard to see, but if you zoom in and look at what's in her hand, it looks like a wand. Well, what's the only wand type item that we've ever seen in this series? And that would be the Wind Waker. And there's even some screens in there that shows her like these musical notes showing up and wind flowing by. So, and in the E3 demo itself, if you pick Zelda, there's an open slot for her weapons. It's rapier and a like question beneath that. So the Wind Waker could be her alternate weapon, which I think would be awesome. Like, let's get some, you know, I can see how it'd be hard to get Wind Waker characters into Hyrule Warriors, just because of the different designs. But as we can get items and weapons from the game, I'll take it.
That would be super awesome. I would love to see the Wind Waker as Zelda's third weapon, as it were. Or I mean, of course, that just makes me want Tetra in the game. But like you said, Derek, I can see why that could pose a significant challenge. But yeah, I mean, let's bring in stuff from Wind Waker. Hell, let's even bring in stuff from Link's Awakening and Link to the Past if we can. I'd love to see them really go whole hog on this. And how about the staff of or the cane of Burna or the cane of Samaria? From Link to the Past, like really obscure items that we haven't seen in a while. Let's bring them back and see them in full 3D glory in Hyrule Warriors.
Rock's
I think
Feather?
They have the Rock's Feather. I mean, there's so many possibilities here. I'd really like to see them kind of dig deep and really bring out some of the more obscure parts of Zelda's history. Yeah,
that'd be awesome. I just wonder if they'll save some of that for a potential sequel, so they don't burn through everything they have.
That's true. Yeah, and they might do that. Yeah.
All right. Was there anything else we need to mention or you want to discuss before we wrap it up here?
Well, I guess it's the question of DLC. We've already seen costumes being shown to have Link and Zelda be in their Twilight Princess outfits. With the new Famitsu skins, it looks like they'll also have the option for Skyward Sword versions of those characters. Now, I guess the question is, will it be limited just those two, or will it be all characters get a inspired outfit from those games in particular?
I'd like to see for Zelda, I think a Hilda alt from A Link Between Worlds would be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, or even for Link, a Ravio alt could be a fun kind of joke to add in there. I mean, when it comes to costume for the Zelda series, there are so many possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Ravio is basically a costume, right? That is what he's wearing, so it makes perfect sense.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, as far as other DLC, do you think it'll just stick to costumes, or do you guys think they'll actually do characters?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, they're already adding so many characters. It seems like they're adding already so many characters in the base game. It almost doesn't seem like they need more characters, but I'm sure, there's always room for more characters. So it could be, but I don't know. I feel like it might be just mostly costumes and maybe additional weapons, but possibly more characters. You never know.
All right, well, I think that wraps up our Hyrule Warriors discussion. So thanks, guys, for watching. If you liked our discussion, make sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain, which you can find links to in the description below. And of course, keep an eye on GameXplain.com for more on Hyrule Warriors and other things gaming as well. All right, thanks, guys. Bye.